I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's game day. Are you ready?
Let's go!
It's time for the Riley and Ridge Show, presented by Jackson's on Bronco Nation News. The Riley and Ridge Show takes you into the locker room and the coach's office, giving you a unique perspective on Boise State football from two guys who know a thing or two about what it takes to win on the blue. Combined, they have nearly 3 decades of coaching experience, none of which came from Riley Smith. But he played for the Broncos and won 52 games and 2 Mountain West championships during his 6 years. Kent Riddle won 7 conference championships during his 13 years as an assistant coach at Boise State and has 29 years of coaching experience overall. The Riley and Ridge Show is presented by Jackson's, where 25 cents from each hot dog sold goes directly to the Horseshoe Collective to support Boise State student athletes. Visit a Treasure Valley Jackson's location today. Now, here's Riley Smith and Kent Riddle for another edition of the Riley and Ridge Show, presented by Jackson's on Bronco Nation News.
Well, the stage is set. Green Bay, Wisconsin, the NFL draft. About 24 hours from right now, we will probably be hearing where Ashton Genty is headed. This NFL draft theater, that's where the magic is going to happen, right there on the stage, as Roger Goodell will shake hands with Ashton Genty. He'll put on that cap. Will it be Raiders? Will it be Jaguars? Will it be somebody else, the Bears? We will find out here shortly on Bronco Nation News and around the world as Ashton Genty gets set to make Boise State history. Hey, how's it going? My name is BJ Rains. I am in Green Bay at the draft. We got Riley Smith, Kent Riddle with us as well. This is mostly going to be their show. Ahmed Hassanein going to join live. Looking forward to chatting with him because his name's going to get called. Pretty cool weekend for him as well. It's not all about Ashton Genty here, and there's some other guys we're going to talk about that want to get picked. So looking forward to chatting with Ahmed. But, guys, thought I'd crash the show a little bit to kind of give the sights and sounds from Green Bay. Got a short interview with Ashton we can play. But exciting times for Boise State here. How we doing, guys?
Doing good, man. Fired up to have you on and hear all about the draft going on right now. It's a pretty sweet thing you're able to do. And give us all the insight, dude. Obviously, I don't know anything about it, so it'd be cool to hear what you got going on.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to be there, see probably the highest Boise State draft pick ever. You know, at this point, that's what we think, right?
Yeah.
Draft night's always unexpected, strange things happen, whatever. But at some point tomorrow, Ashton's getting his name called. So I'm,
no doubt.
Yeah, but ready to hear the report. Got my Jacksons right here, so I'm
there
ready
you
to
go.
go.
I'm trying to think. I know, Rid, you were involved, obviously, in his recruitment and stuff, bringing him to Boise State. I mean, I don't know if you ever could have imagined you're recruiting a guy that could be a top 5 pick in the draft. I know you have high expectations for every player that you pick, but to think back to those conversations and being at his kitchen table there and getting that thing done and now seeing what he's about to do tomorrow night, it's got to be pretty cool for you, Rid.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. It really is. And, he's done all the work and he's really, done it himself, starting with how hard he worked to get to the college level and then to go 10 times over that and make the most of it. I do think, when you're recruiting guys, I mean, I've recruited some really good players at Boise State. I think Curtis Weaver, Ryan Clady, Orlando Scandrick, guys that went on to do some good things. I mean, shoot, Ryan was like the 12th pick in the draft or something like that.
Yeah, he's the highest right now. He's the highest drafted player they've had until tomorrow night, probably.
That wasn't exactly the thought with him either. I don't think that's really the thought when you're recruiting guys to come to college. It's not, this guy's going to be the best ever we've ever had. You're just thinking like, hey, this guy's a really good player, and he's got the ability to help our team. And if he works really hard, he certainly has the talent to do that stuff. And I think that's, for Ryan Clady, it was all about like his size. You just don't see many dudes that big.
Yeah.
And can move their feet like that and stuff like that. But with Ashton, you didn't see that many guys that were that sudden and could change direction and get going to full speed so fast. So, I mean, all those guys kind of have their own thing, but certainly not thinking like, oh my God, 3 years from now, let's see where we're at.
Well, I try to keep reminding Bronco Nation. There's a lot of people, but Kent Riddle is one of the people that deserves a lot of credit for Ashton Genty, being the Boise State running back. Ashton Genty going on the stage tomorrow. So props to you, Rid, and the rest of the staff that got that done. I know Tim Plow was a big part of that. And said to go back and watch Winston. I remember that you were telling us a story about Tim Plow saying go back and check the film again, and so there's a lot of stories and a lot of people involved. But for you, Riley, I know you've obviously, your friends, you've played with a lot of guys in the NFL. I know this isn't, this has happened before, but to be a teammate, friend to this guy and see, a guy maybe go in the top 5 of the NFL draft tomorrow night, what's this like for you?
Dude, it's surreal. And it's interesting seeing the passing of the torch from George to him. Like, George was the guy. When George was playing, he was like a showstopper. Everybody's eyes were on him and he was balling out. And then when Ashton came, you didn't really, as an older guy, you're focused on your boys that are on the field. And Ashton was working his way up, and then he started practicing, and you're like, oh shit, this guy's got some talent for sure. And George was an awesome mentor to him too. That was another big part, like seeing a guy that's on the field and knowing he has competition. All the mentoring and advice he put into Ashton came a long way from a top running back that's now in the league. And then knowing Ashton as a person, like, he was one of the coolest dudes on the team as far as like, he kept everyone's head steady. No moment was too big or too small. It was always like very consistent, and he had a fun time doing it. I think one of my favorite years was playing with Taylor and Ashton. Like, those two dudes together, as far as just being goofy, having a good time, knowing how to bring the fun to football, was awesome. And now seeing Ashton take the stage, just seeing him on all these commercials that he's been on lately is mind-blowing, because it still feels like he's the freshman Ashton that joined our team a while ago. So it's pretty dope, and it's a big blessing to be able to see what he's going to do in the future.
Well, Ashton Genty and the prospects were at a clinic earlier this morning. I had a chance to catch up, a short 2-minute interview. Ashton Genty on the eve of making history at the NFL draft. Ashton Genty, Boise State running back, trying to make Boise State history. Let's hear from Ashton Genty ahead of tomorrow's draft. You know this man, no introduction needed. Ashton Genty. My name is BJ Rains, Bronco Nation News. Made it to Green Bay. We're catching up with Ashton. Crazy, man. It's here. You're in Green Bay. The draft's tomorrow. What's the feeling like, man?
Shoot, excitement, man. Just ready to see where I'm going. It's been a long process, but I'm glad the moment's almost here.
What are the emotions like as you just think of all the years of football, all the practices, all the sweat, all the Pee-wee football growing up, and now tomorrow night here in Green Bay, you're going to find out where you're headed?
I think a lot of just gratefulness, just excited. I mean, it's so many emotions, but most of all, just to look back and think, when I was a little kid, dreaming of this moment. Now, the younger me would be so proud of me to be here today.
Are you able to kind of soak that in and realize, you're going to make Boise State history tomorrow, hopefully be the highest picked ever from Boise State. You're going to be a millionaire here real soon. Just has it sunk in kind of what you're about to do?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it'll really, hit me once we're there, tomorrow in the green room. And then obviously once my name gets called, I'm on the stage. But it's just a blessing.
How did Boise State prepare you for this, and for all the fans back in Boise and watching this and rooting for you back in Boise tomorrow? What's that connection, that feeling like, knowing how they helped you get here?
Yeah, just extreme, just gratefulness in the program that believed in me. That let me be myself and grow into the man I am, also the football player. So on and off the field, they did a great job, and helping me grow and, most important, develop into, a great human being all around.
When you arrived at Boise State that first day, could you ever have imagined this?
I did imagine it, but I don't know if it would quite have been like this, but it's just amazing to be where I'm at now.
Coaches, the first round picks at Boise State, all the guys from Boise State. What's this going to mean to you to add your name to that legacy, that list of greats in the NFL from Boise State?
It's going to be amazing, and just especially for Boise State, showing that it doesn't matter what school you're at, Group of 5, Power 5, you can get recruited and play in the NFL and be one of the high picks.
What is your message for the fans and everybody back in Boise watching today and tomorrow?
Man, all love, forever grateful for Boise State, the community. Go Broncos.
Thanks, man. There it is. Go Broncos from Ashton Genty. I had the little one-on-one there, and then about 50 media members tried to throw their mics and dive in there. I actually started a little early and got kind of lucky there, but there were a lot of questions after that about the Bears and his visit there and the Raiders. And you can go on our YouTube channel, watch the full 10 minutes or so that I put up there. But Rid, you mentioned Ryan Clady and some of these other guys, and you heard him talking about adding his team to that legacy. I mean, you guys, for both of you, you have that wall there in the facility with all the NFL players, and there's been some good ones. The Kyle Wilsons of the world, the Leighton Vander Esch's. I mean, you go down the line, DeMarcus Lawrence. I mean, there's so many to name. A lot of them still Shaq and all these guys that are in the league right now. But I mean, heck, Kellen Moore is an NFL head coach right now for crying out loud. I mean, for a little old school like Boise State, so to speak, Rid, to have the history in the NFL that they do, and now to be adding to that, with maybe one of the best ever going in, at least as he goes in, Ashton Genty, it's pretty cool.
It is cool, and I think he hit it on the head. If you come here and produce, you're going to be, not only evaluated by the NFL, but drafted by the NFL and have great opportunities. It doesn't even matter if you're drafted or if you sign as a free agent. Like, I think the NFL knows when you take a Boise State guy, what you're getting. You're going to get a guy that's going to show up, work hard, be smart, be tough, and be productive. And that's why some of those guys hang on the practice squad even for a couple of years before they make it. But, I think about a guy like Corey Hall, who played linebacker his whole career, gets drafted, flips over and wins a Super Bowl as a fullback, and now Scott Matlock, obviously he's playing both ways, or as Coach Harbaugh said, he's a three-way player. But, how that goes, I mean, and ability has a lot to do with it. I mean, obviously there's guys that just don't have the ability, but I think the other side of it is the NFL knows, hey, these guys can do something. Like, they're good enough athletes. Maybe we're not going to use them exactly the way they were used at Boise State, but we're going to flip them over and do something else with them, or whatever the case may be. And I just think that's something that when you take a Boise State guy, what you're getting in the NFL. You're not going to have, not to say we've never had a guy bust in the NFL or whatever, but it's certainly a rare occasion.
Well, you see, it was raining earlier in the day. They got the clinic in, and then the rain came. That was a rainy Lambeau Field. I ran out there to get the picture there before the usher tried to usher me out of there. But the NFL draft experience, I mean, they've turned this thing, guys, into a whole event. I mean, it's crazy to think why didn't they do this earlier? But just they're expecting 250,000 people in town tomorrow to come to this thing. And here you can see the little Vince Lombardi trophy, and there's all kinds of interactive things with the different teams, and just a really cool, surreal, experience in terms of being here and seeing Ashton with that NFL draft logo on his shirt. And I did want to show this part. They created a little dive bar on the grounds of the Lambeau Field here to kind of mimic the dive bars in Wisconsin, and they had a little map coming up here where they wanted you to make sure you say where you're from and kind of get everybody on the map here. So as you're going to see here in just a second, BJ Rain, Bronco Nation News, we were the first to pin Boise, Idaho on the map right here. So I could have gone St. Louis, hometown, but I went Boise. Boise, Idaho is now on the map. There it is right there. And you can see that we were able to get Boise on the map. But Rid, I don't know, Riley, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a draft or obviously watched them, if you have any draft memories, but this thing's turned into a huge ordeal here.
Yeah, I've never been to a draft, but I've always watched it growing up, and like Ashton said, just being in the green room, like that's your childhood dream, and being able to see him there tomorrow night is going to be pretty electric. But as far as watching the draft, it was always exciting watching the Jags draft people, and it was cool because we always grew up kind of as Boise State fans. So anytime a Boise State guy went, it was pretty electric, knowing that that's where my dad grew up, and kind of the underdogs, like we always knew that was the tale. So seeing guys like that go in the draft, and then coming to Boise State, that was like kept the dream going. So
it's hard to explain, guys, how big this stage is right here. I mean, it's got to be every bit the size of of a football field, if not bigger. It's just absolutely insane. They've got the area for every team to have their little spot to sit in. There's the stage right there. The green room, by the way, is not really a green room anymore. This is the reverse angle, by the way. There's Lambeau Field. There's the parking lot right there. But you think green room, you think table. All the stories, Aaron Rodgers falling and all that, not getting picked. But now they've got these really comfy couches. This is the green room where Ashton will be sitting tomorrow night. There's couches. It's funny, they have like these old school phones, which we know aren't the ones they're using to call. But they've got it was just this is the quote unquote green room. Every prospect will have one of those. I know Spencer Danielson will be in the green room sitting there with Ashton. He'll be flying out tomorrow with Jeremiah Dickey as well. But pretty cool. And I know Ahmed's hopping on. We don't want to keep him waiting, but just wanted to give you guys some of the sights and sound here of Green Bay, and it's pretty cool the way they do this. This is the red carpet. The final thing I'll show. It's actually a green carpet. It is. They have the football field there, but inside Lambeau Field, fans have the opportunity to kind of sit there in the stands, and all the prospects will walk by here and do interviews and things like that. And Ashton will stop, and I think it starts at 3 o'clock Boise time. You can watch the red carpet and see the prospects arrive and things like that. And as I said, the sun came out, and it finished up a much better day later in the day. But inside Lambeau Field for the red carpet, outside for everything else, and going to be a fun day tomorrow. So I will let you guys take over. I'm going to play a 30-second commercial here to thank our sponsors, and then when we get back, it'll be all you guys, and Ahmed Hassanein here is he's going to hear his name called. Can't wait to hear from Ahmed. Looking forward to that, and we'll do that in 30 seconds here on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
What's up, Ahmed?
What's up? How you doing, Riley?
What's happening, Ahmed? Good to have you.
How you doing?
I'm good. The real question is, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm blessed for sure.
I know it.
Being in this position, and if you asked me 6 years ago, would I be here? I'll probably won't understand what you're talking about, and I don't know what you're talking about. But, so I'm just blessed to be at this point.
Absolutely.
Well, honestly, we were just talking about that. I think in recruiting, nobody knows, who's exactly an NFL guy. I mean, guys, maybe the top of the top of the top. Everybody has an idea that guy, but he's probably going to the SEC or the Big Ten, whatever. But a lot of those guys don't pan out. And I think so what everybody ends up thinking is, hey, this guy's just going to show up and work hard, and we think he's going to be a good player for us, but it's kind of be up to him where he takes that to be ready for the next level. And nobody has done that better than you have.
I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Because like you said, I mean, I think probably some people, maybe not a lot, know your story yet, but I mean, you hadn't even played football 6 years ago, right?
No, sir. I did
That's
not.
Awesome.
I mean, I'm so blessed to be at this point, and just, it's a lot of nerves going on. Of like anxiousness just to be where I'll be, where I'll live, where I'll stay. But I know God has a plan, so I'm just excited.
That's
No
awesome.
doubt. Take us through a little bit.
Attitude.
He always does. He always got that attitude, except on 9-on-7 run.
Oh,
He gets a little mad. That's a little different.
True story.
Take us through kind of your story. I know a lot of people know it, but just like from being in Egypt and coming all the way to Boise, Idaho, and now you're in the position that you're in, just kind of walk us through your mindset and kind of how you grew to be where you're at now.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, it goes back to like I was born in the United States. I left when I was 6 years old. I left my older brother, Corey. We're half brothers. He stayed with his mom, and I left with my dad. Man, and when I left with my dad, my mom left when I was 3 years old. So that was kind of like the beginning of the hardship, just growing up with a single parent. And then when I went back to Egypt, she wasn't really the best. Like she came back into my life when I was 7 years old. I left in 2008. And my mom came back into my life. It wasn't the best decision my dad made. And she kind of wasn't the best really example for me, you know. So she stayed in my life for 10 years. So that's kind of like it was the hardest time of my life back home. And just I went through a lot back home. I went through a lot. So kind of like sports was kind of my outlet. So I did like CrossFit, I did ping pong, I did basketball, I did everything. I did breakdancing. I did everything, literally.
You got to be the biggest CrossFit athlete of all time.
Yeah, bro, I was. But also I was ranked on CrossFit too. So I was the first on Egypt top 10 on African CrossFit Games. So yeah, I felt really. So I never I'll be honest with you. Like I never had I always had a family. Like I always had that, but I never had like a mom and dad and just like family just living together because my dad was working all the time and had a lot of problems with the government and stuff. So we were kind of like following him from place to place to place to place. But it was just a lot back home. So it kind of like sports was kind of my outlet. I felt like a culture and some people want me to do good and people are happy for me. So this is why I excelled in sports. 10 years later, in 2018, my brother Corey, like my sister, he was playing semi-football in Austria, and my sister Gigi, she messaged him and he was like, "Hey, come see your brother. He's struggling," right? Because I was struggling at that time, and I was just, getting in fights in school all the time. I was just angry, because of just what happened in my life and my mom issues and my dad issues and all that stuff. So I was just like, I was trying to figure out where to go, and I did not know anything. And at that time, I only spoke Arabic, so I didn't speak any English or play any football at all. So my brother suggested to my dad, and he was like, after he visited 10 years, me and my brother, we haven't talked, we haven't seen each other. He convinced my dad to send him. I was supposed to go to an American school in Georgia. It's called Riverside. And at that time, my brother convinced my dad, and he was like, "Hey, why you send him to American school? Send him to America with me. I'm a high school football coach and an English teacher." Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that. It's probably a team. No, I've been getting a lot of calls.
That's good.
I'm just gonna answer that real quick because they've been calling me. So
take it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Riley will talk for a minute.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So, a great story about Ahmed. I mean, you would never know that English is his second language.
Yeah.
For how well he speaks it and how smart he is to learn that way. Ahmed, is truly one of the guys that just showed up every day, tried to figure out how I can get better, how I can get better. Every piece of teaching, Coach D, Coach Avalos, Coach Chins, all those guys spending, Coach Miley, all the amount of time they spent with him. Like, here's the guy that's like doing, not just one technique, but here's a guy, just kept working till he mastered every single one and can learn new ones. And it's
for sure,
it's freaking phenomenal. I mean, and then to have to go against him, right, as a tight end was a nightmare.
He brought like the most passion I've seen from somebody playing football. Like you
better not take a play off.
Never take a play off. And it was always a battle between me and him. And it made me a better player for sure. Made me a better blocker, made me more aggressive, more physical. Because you get put on your back by Ahmed a couple of times, you're like, yeah, I'm never going to let that happen again. And so every play, every one-on-one rep or team rep, especially the 2-minute drill at the end when we're both just dog tired, and he knows the play that's coming. I know what he's about to do. It was full on war. And then after that, when I would play other guys from other teams, it was like, oh, this is easy. So that was truly like, I think we really pushed each other to a whole nother level. And that's what I appreciate about Ahmed for sure.
Absolutely. Well, Ahmed, we were just saying, and you know, I think the other thing for everybody else from the coach's standpoint wasn't always just it was more than his intensity that he was going to show up with on every play. I mean, this dude's physically gifted too. I mean, he's one of the strongest guys, has been really since your freshman year, right? I mean, one of the strongest guys, not just pound for pound, but overall too. I mean, strongest guys in the weight room and, most explosive too. So, yeah, that was always a nightmare for the offensive guys.
I know. The tight ends you go against better wear a guardian cap in the game because he will concuss you, that's for sure. I know that.
The Philadelphia Eagles just called me. That was the Philadelphia Eagles, yeah.
Nice, dude.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, we're just going to make sure that's your number for the draft. And, we'll have you on our draft board. So we'll see, man.
That's big time.
Who was it that called you? Do you know?
Philadelphia Eagles.
I mean, what person?
His name is Coach Avery. He's the scout or
yeah.
They've been calling me like a ton. So
everybody should be checking up on you to make sure your information's current, all that. Because
I've been getting a lot of these calls.
It's good, dude. I'm happy for you.
I appreciate that.
Big time, dude.
We're all happy for you. And especially, I was going to say, especially it's been through all the things you have. You were just moving to America with your brother.
Oh, so 2018, like 1 month later, my brother convinced my dad to send me to America. I moved to America in 2018 in August. They didn't speak any English, didn't know any football at all. I don't know what the hell I was doing. So I moved to Loera High School in Anaheim, California. And it was one of the lowest division in high school. Like I did not have a D-line coach. Like my D-line coach, like really, he owned a restaurant and he cooked meatballs and pizza. Yeah, so I didn't really have a lot of like information. But then I started playing football, and my brother coaches the wide receivers. So they tried him as a wide receiver, couldn't catch the ball. They tried him as a linebacker. There was just too much stuff going on. So he just put me in the D-line and told me to go get the guy who has the ball. And I was like, all right, perfect. See ball, get ball. I can do that.
Yep.
So I just start going and just like grabbing face masks, just throwing people, kicking people, hip flipping them. Like I didn't know what I was doing. And just costing my team so many penalties. Mitch Olsen, one of my favorite coaches of all time, he's my head football coach. He really taught me like just the game, right? And my brother really broke it down for me because
Coach Olsen. Did he ever tell you he coached another pretty good Bronco when he was at Kennedy High School?
Yes,
Andre.
Yeah. He coached a lot of NFL guys, and I was like, I really wanted to become that guy. Like, I mean, there's where my dream started.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I was like watching the TV on the Sunday like highlight, and I saw Aaron Donald play, and I was like, damn, that's like that guy's a beast. Like, who's that guy? So I went to my brother and I asked him, and I was like, hey, what high school he goes to? And he was like, bro, that's the NFL. And I was like, NFL? What's that? And he was like, bro, that's the National Football League. And I was like, I want to go there. So he was like, bro, you understand it only takes like 0.1%. Like nobody really, it's really hard to get in there. And I was like, all right, where to start? So he started taking me to camps, and I just start working my butt off. Like I start going to the gym like 4 hours a day. My brother's calling me and he's like, what the hell are you doing? Like I was like, I'm at the gym, I'm working out. I'm working out like twice a day just to get stronger, get faster and stuff. And just lifting weights. That's all I do. Like lifting weights. Until like and he was like, okay, we got to start taking you to camps because you're not going to get really seen from Loera High School. It's a really small school. So he started taking me to like winter circle camps. And he started taking me to a lot of different camps. And I was doing like a one-on-one with the mask on in the garage because it was COVID. So I couldn't really get that much. I only played 2 years of high school football. So I was doing like one-on-one and just like literally watching YouTube videos of how to pass rush and like just doing it and like just watching it and doing them. And I just start dominating like 5 stars, 4 stars, people from Mater Dei, Bosco, you name it. I just start going through the whole line. And people were like, who the hell is this kid? And my brother's like, yeah, that's my brother. He's been only playing football for 2 years. and I was trying to get him seen and recruited. And man, this is why I believe that's such like a small world. Like I have the potential to be the first Egyptian to ever get drafted, which is like an honor to me and my country and my family. And just for somebody that what he's been through in life, and just coming here and getting that culture shock, just learning English right away, couldn't understand English, learning football right away, has his own language, becoming like a D1 athlete. And this is why I believe it's such like a small world that I'll be the first Egyptian out of 150 million people in Egypt. It's kind of crazy to me. So when I was getting recruited and getting known, Spencer Danielson, he was the D-line coach back then. He reached out to me and texted me on Twitter, and he was like, "Hey, loved your film." And I got super excited that Coach D texted me on Twitter. I went to show my brother, and he was like, "Hey, check this out. Boise State texted me." And he's like, "Wait, that's Spencer Danielson. I played with that guy." My friend, tell you my brother. So I was like, "Hey, you know my brother," and he didn't believe me back then because my brother's like 5'8", 5'7", and I'm like 6'3", so he didn't really believe me because it was COVID, so I couldn't even come and visit the school.
Yeah.
So he was like really hoping, get out the car, hoping I'm 6'3", because he's like he offered me a scholarship online without even seeing me. But yeah, as soon as I felt that connection, I just felt like God really called me to be at Boise State, because that is just for Spencer to contact me without knowing Corey's my brother to end up at Boise State. I feel like it's all in God's plan. And then from there, I just went to work. You know, Boise State really taught me how to be, first of all, a man and be on time for everything, and just really breaking it down from the first down to the fourth down, to special teams, to what am I supposed to do on the field? Like, how am I supposed to lead? You know, how am I supposed to be, how my work ethic is, you know? So it just really taught me that way, you know? So, and for the hardships, 6 a.m.s, meetings, being earlier on for everything, pushing teammates, becoming a leader. So that's really what taught me, you know? So I just super grateful, and best decision I ever made to be at Boise State. I'd rather not be at anybody place else. So
you like one of the few guys never had a problem with 6 a.m. though.
No.
So that's sleeping in when you're used to getting up to work out at like 4:30, right?
Yes, sir. I loved that lifestyle, you know. So I loved it, you know, and I just loved just working as hard as I can. So people just like, to get the affirmation, people to like, "Hey, man, you did a good job." I'm like, "Hey, thank you," you know. So I was just like,
yeah,
stuff like that. It just means so much to me, and just seeing my teammates and having the same feeling that what they go through, I go through at the same time, and just celebrating together on a weekend or something, and just like having fun and just enjoying each other. That means the world to me, you know. And that's what I truly do it for. Just my teammates, my team, my coaches, you know, people that believe in me, and it just means a lot to me, you know. So
I feel like. Oh, go ahead.
Godred. I was gonna say, yeah, just from on the field to off the field in the weight room, like we truly had like that tight connection as a team. And I remember like we would hit a 6 a.m. workout, and then only a couple guys would kind of stay out after, get a little bicep pump in, and everyone was kind of doing their own thing. And then Ahmed was doing your bodybuilder workouts. Yeah. I remember going over, I'm like, damn, I'm trying to look like Ahmed. Maybe I should start lifting with him after this. And you broke it down. I still do some of those workouts because you broke it down so good, and I still don't look like you yet, but it was fun being able to like pick your brain about that stuff and do some of that stuff after practice. And then, like you said, like celebrating wins on the weekend or hanging out with everyone in the summer. Like we truly had like that tight bond with that team. And that was pretty cool to see compared to other teams I've been on. I mean, it's always been good, but it was something special about the group we had for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And it showed also in like huge in the last year. And just for me going through Shrine Bowl, going from the Shrine Bowl, Combine, going from the Combine to Pro Day, which is home. I think my favorite part of the process was being home at Pro Day.
That's what I was just going to ask you. What's your favorite part? So you answer it.
Pro Day. It was actually my favorite part because I was playing at the East West Shrine Bowl, and I was lining up on the edge. Yeah, we're doing one-on-ones, but everything is just individually. Everything is just me. It's not about the team. Like I'm lining up and I'm just looking at my D tackle, and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like I have no idea. It's not Sheldon, it's not Herb, it's not Braxton. Like I have no idea who that is. So I can't like really talk or communicate. Like I can't tell them what to do or run this type of game or write this type of game. So really it was just more of like an individual I still did my thing there because I just wanted to get exposure and get known, but I really didn't enjoy the process. Like I didn't enjoy, like I can't say it like that, but I just didn't really enjoy it as I enjoyed being on a football team. You know,
not as much as being with your buddies.
Yes, exactly. And just training for the combine and stuff, just hearing what other guys have to say about their schools really taught me a lot about my school. You know, I trained with so many guys from different schools, different Power 5, SEC, you name it. And just seeing what they have to hear about their school is like, I would never say anything about my school like that. Like, just our type of brotherhood and our type of love, it's the guys you never had. You older guys that cared about the money and just fame and all that. You never really cared about each other. You know?
That's one thing I think whatever NFL team ends up taking you, like they're getting more than just a player. You know, they're getting somebody that's going to show up and be grateful for the opportunity, be grateful for the things that are presented to them, instead of just being like, you know, hey, what's in it for me? I mean, obviously that's part of it at the next level. Like, you know, you do have to take care of yourself. That's your livelihood, all that stuff. But, you know, the flip side is like making sure that you're contributing in other ways. And I think people appreciate that. You know, I think about guys like Avery Williams and John Bates and Shaq, like, you know, guys that are just there that are making their teams better, not only by their play on the field, because that's where it starts. If you're not good enough to play, you're not good enough to play, and you won't be around long. But
absolutely,
you know, but all the other things you can bring to a team, and I know you're going to do that, you know, tenfold. So I'm excited for you and excited for whatever team takes you. Yeah, and if it's Eagles and you get to play with Avery, great. But I'm sure that's just one of 32 teams that have contacted you. So.
Yes, sir. There's been, I talked to all 32. I met with them at the East West Shrine Bowl, and I met them at the Combine, and we're also doing another interviews like on Zoom and stuff. Like we're going in specific talking football, and just these Zooms are recorded, so everybody gets to watch and everybody gets to know like how I process information, because they kind of want to know how I process information for only a guy that's been playing football for 6 years. So I feel like I've been killing it. This is my process. I love taking notes, and I just love writing everything down. And just say this was a Zoom meeting, I'm just taking notes the whole time, and just he's like goes over my plays and tells me where I messed up, because they don't show you the good. They show you only the like a little bit. And just you want to see if you're gonna held accountability or you're gonna blame someone else. I was like, no, I'm not 100%. I'm not perfect all the time. I mess up too. So you got to know that you admit that, and you know you messed up, or you jump the gap or something like that. So, and then they go over again, and they ask you about their plays to see how you remember their information. So I was like, let me repeat that back to you. So look at my notes and just repeating back, and I'm like, so they say like, yeah, man, you did a
Don't share your secrets. You still got time.
Oh yeah, I know.
How different were the plays that they taught you compared to the plays that like we ran through college?
They always teach me like they give me two positions to learn at the same time, and it's kind of different because you have to there's a lot more communication going on. So in college, you kind of worry about what you have to do. But also my last year and my last 2 years, like the more games I play, the more information I know, the better I communicate. So they really taught me. So it's my last year was my best year by far, just because I know what's coming and what's happening and where's the running back, where the end is the opposite. So I know all that's happening. So I communicate that to my D tackle. But they were teaching me their scheme to see how I process their information. And different type of sets, if it's 3x1, 2x2, all that stuff is just, I'm going to give a different call, because I'm going to set the front. It's kind of weird because there's Sam and there's Rusher. They call it Sam and Rusher. They don't call it like true D end and true stud. Like, you know, really, like we call it that. You know? Like,
sure. Yeah, right.
Different language, and you just have to adapt to it. So, yeah.
That's dope, dude. We got a good question from Kellen from Mayor. It said, coolest person you met or talked to during the NFL process.
Oh, that's a good question. Ashton Genty. He's been my closest friend. He played DN. He's from Louisville. He's gonna get his name. He's gonna. We work like hard together, so we were kind of pushing each other too. But no, he's kind of like one of my closest friends now because we play games with each other now, and everything after even after the combine, we still keep connection. So yeah, that's my guy.
That's dope, dude. That's exciting.
Yeah, no, I met a lot of guys. It's kind of cool to see where the like trained with like Abdul Carter, see what he can do. Just trained with so many guys, so it was really cool to see them how their work ethic is and how different their lifestyle is. So it's kind of cool. But my closest guy is Ashton Genty for sure.
Yeah, sweet.
Well, Kellen, with another one. What's your draft plans?
Draft plans. So me and my agent kind of decided to like rent an Airbnb, and we're hoping for that Friday. If I get picked up Friday, then that would be great. But realistically, we're looking for Saturday, the third day. Early Saturday would be amazing.
Awesome. That was the same thing John Bates did.
Yeah,
rented an Airbnb and had some guys over there, and I actually showed up right as I'd been there about 5 minutes and he got the call, so maybe I should have showed up earlier and got him.
After the call, I will send you guys the address so you guys can.
Oh yeah, it's out in Boise.
Right.
Yeah, it's here. Yeah.
Oh, that's smooth. That's dope.
I'll send it to you.
We're for sure gonna have to link up.
Perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll see you Friday.
Okay, I'll see you Friday. But we know everybody's coming over on Saturday, so
yeah, no, that'll be cool, dude. That's exciting.
If every NFL team knew what they were getting, like full on, there's no question it'd be Friday. But you know, the one thing, as I'm sure you know, and your agents told you, it really doesn't matter. I mean, other than some zeros on your bank account. I mean, but once you get there, you got to prove yourself, and the rest of it doesn't matter. You know, anybody that thinks they made it just by being drafted, those are usually the guys that get cut right away.
Yes, sir.
The guys that work like they're an undrafted free agent, no matter where they're picked, are the guys that excel.
Absolutely. So this is my mentality right now. It's just like I want to take this moment in, you know, because it's a huge thing to be the first Egyptian to ever get drafted. For me, it means a lot. And just being another open opportunity for other people too as well. So I'm definitely gonna celebrate it and be happy. Wherever I go, I'm blessed. You know.
Well, the NFL's expanding their footprint with new games, new places all the time. So getting Egyptian in the league, might be playing right by the pyramids, maybe.
They're already starting. They're already starting. That's the crazy part. They're already starting. They started like a flag football deal, and they already started a professional football too. And they're I know a couple teams like the Rams, the 49ers, and another team just like expanding to go to play in Abu Dhabi and to play like Saudi Arabia and these places. So it'll be good for me to, I don't know, just probably land on one of these teams and just go out there and just, I don't know, just open other opportunity, other families to join what to know.
And as the NFL expands and whenever they get to having a game there or whatever, you know, I'm sure that's down the road, but they're always looking for ambassadors to send out to those countries. And you got somebody that speaks the language, but, you know, just has connections to that part of the world or that country. You know, there's always a spot there to be an ambassador for the NFL. And the NFL doesn't lack for money. So those things tend to work out okay. Yeah. You know, Jay Ajayi went over because he was born in London. They sent him over there a bunch to do some stuff, and then all of a sudden he had an English accent. So whatever.
That's cool. Yeah, so since somebody is being like speak Arabic and speak English, will be a huge help.
Absolutely.
The NFL and something. So it'll be cool.
Oh yeah, Kellen from Mayer's asking, what's the first thing you're gonna buy with that first paycheck?
That's a good question. So see, I'm a saver, so I don't really like to spend a lot, probably, but
good move. Good move.
I hear you.
I'm a saver, so I'm probably gonna invest it first, and probably I've been looking at this cologne that I really want to buy. you know.
Nice.
So I'm probably gonna do that. It's called like Creed, like mountain water or something like that. So I'm probably gonna
That
buy.
won't break the bank. You should be okay with that.
No. It's not. It's a little bit pricey though. It's a little bit
For
pricey.
sure. It sounds like it smells good.
It is. No, it is. So it's like $400 or something like that. I'm a huge cologne guy, so it's just
Like
Yeah,
I said,
buddy.
I don't think that'll break the bank.
no.
Might be a little pricey, but it ain't gonna, that's a good thing to spend.
Yeah. For the
spend money
stipend
on.
check, yeah. But
And also,
Then
I
you-
want
yeah,
to invest in a property probably in Boise because I always want to be
Nice.
here. So
Awesome.
talk to my financial advisor and see what can make something happen.
that's cool. Dude.
Good.
What's besides football, what's one of the main things you're gonna miss about Boise?
People, the coaches. I'm probably gonna miss that. I don't like big cities, you know. I can't probably say that, but I just don't like really big cities. I like small cities like Boise. It's just like everything is so close and everybody's like know each other and everybody's happy, you know. And I love Boise. I love the old 4 season that we go through. I love the snow. I love the summer. I love the spring, fall. All these, I love that. Like the Boise River, everything is so close. My teammates, the blue, it's the biggest thing I'm gonna miss. The weight room there, like I'm always welcomed here, but I just truly, I'm gonna miss Boise because I love Boise. I'm planning to live here, like after I'm done, you know, like so. It's always gonna be
The
a home.
good thing is, even though you're probably going to a big city, there's, you know, your life will be very small in that big city. You'll find some place close to the facility, and that'll be where everything you do, except other than travel to game day or away games, you know, everything else will be based in that probably 5 or 10 minute drive from the facility.
Yeah, no,
'cause
I can't wait.
you're the guy that won't have a lot of free time, so
No. So I'm
you'll
excited.
be living like OJ.
Yeah.
Living at the facility pretty much, drinking free milk, eating free meals.
No, he's awesome. I talked to Tennessee a lot too. I think they're interested in a lot. So
That'd be a good city too.
yeah, we'll see. I have to go against OJ again. Oh. But he doesn't know that 2.0 though. So
Yeah, he doesn't.
no.
Big difference.
Yeah, big difference since sophomore year of med and junior and then senior is different.
Oh yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to go against senior year. I got the middle ground.
What was one of your best memories from this year?
This year, that's a good question. I feel like the Fiesta Bowl. That was pretty mean. That was pretty meaningful, especially my sack that I got. I never heard the stadium go as loud as I heard it. I felt like the Penn State, like there was no Penn State fans. There were only like Boise State fan Broncos. Like it was so cool. And the moment that I shared after the game, with Coach D, it was pretty meaningful to me. You know, so somebody that like came to Christ and only like 9 months ago, and for video to God used me to inspire over 25 million people all over the world. I'm getting texts from like Lebanon, Iraq, Palestine, all these people just, you know, seeing that like the encouragement of something, how somebody's named Ahmed and that he's a Christian and follow Jesus. So it meant so much to me. Also going to come with persecution, of course, and all that, but it meant a lot to me that I was inspiring people to come out more, and
it's very inspiring.
To say like the Lord's name. So I was just happy, you know. So that was a pretty meaningful moment to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny; those will be the things you'll remember, you know, forever, and probably that more than the sack.
Absolutely.
Hopefully, you remember them both for a long time. But hopefully, well, not hopefully. I know you got plenty more sacks that you'll have a tough time distinguishing one from the other. But you know, those moments with people are always the things that impact your life for as long as you live.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, that's
Will the family be watching back home?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I figured out that my dad, how he connects with. He's probably watching this right now, honestly.
Awesome.
Like he sent it to like the family group chat, and I'm like, Dad, I'm doing it. like you don't have to send it to me. I know. But I know it's so funny. He's been super supportive and just been his happiness to just watch me play and just watch, like he knows everything about the draft and what's gonna happen and all that stuff. And he started knowing football, and he's just super cool, you know. So yeah, they'll definitely be watching.
Well, that's good for everybody. Because BJ was on here talking about Ashton for a minute, and this is all you. But what's your memory of Ashton?
Memory of Ashton.
It doesn't have to be one. Just
yeah. Probably Riley was here. You probably seen that in practice, Riley, when he just kept hurdling people, and we knew that he was like, "Whoa, where did that come from?" Because he came as a freshman, and we were like, "Oh yeah, cool, like a easy tackle." And just like one game happened, we played one game, and he didn't have his best game. That was like the Oregon State game, and then went after that and just went off his freshman game. Off, like in practice, just hurdling people, trucking people, and be like, Ashton, where did that come from? Like it was crazy. And then he kept stacking it and stacking it and stacking it. But no, he's an amazing dude, and I'm just excited to see. Hopefully, I don't have to go against him. I'll be on the same team, hopefully. But
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Actually, I was thinking about that today. I was like, I may have to face Ashton one day. Yeah, so it was so funny.
Well, you'll know all the moves not to fall for. You've seen them all in practice, right?
He cut off.
You've seen all his moves in practice, so you'll know the ones not to fall for.
You heard him?
What did he say?
He said you've seen all his moves in practice, so you know what not to fall for.
Yeah, I mean, Ashton is still Ashton at the end of the day, so
I know he always pulls shit out the bag.
He pulls something. But no, I'm excited because he's a competitor and I'm a competitor too. So we'll go at it. We go at it for sure.
No doubt. I know Colin was scared during pro day when he had to hold the bag for you and Ashton.
Oh yeah.
I was like,
I had to hold it. Bro. I was like, do I fake falling right now? Just
that's what I was thinking too.
But also I want to give him like a realistic look. So I was like,
you're like, well, my trash talk fall.
Like, good hit, Ashton. Good hit.
Yeah.
Just to let everybody know. So
no, that was good, bro. That was cool being able to see y'all like ball out at pro day, having all the boys there. I don't know if y'all heard like Amarion and all them chirping from the sideline. It made it fun, bros.
Yeah, it was. No, it was super cool.
Yeah, and you did a phenomenal job. Had a great workout. Obviously, you tore up the combine. I mean, other than maybe a couple guys that are like projected very high.
Yeah,
I think you got more coverage than anybody at the combine, which was awesome and well deserved. So, yeah, it's awesome to see a guy like you. And I keep saying it over and over, but I mean, you might not have had a lot of opportunities, but every one of them that you've had, you made the most of and created more on your own. And that's, I mean, I think that's the thing that most of the NFL people that I've talked to kind of see when they think about you is, hey, the guy, like everything he's ever had an opportunity to do, he just does. Yeah. So there's no reason to think it's not going to be the same at this level.
Absolutely. I mean, I was trying to make the most of the opportunity. Like I went to the Shrine Bowl, hoping to get like just known and noticed because nobody knew anything about me. Like, I had, 22 sacks in 2 years. It doesn't just happen. It's just you have to stack and 15 plus TFLs back to back, and just like doesn't just happen. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go prove myself against Days West Shrine Bowl. So I went the MVP of the practices. After that, I just went to the combine and I was like, okay, I'm trying to show out again because everybody was just, I don't know, everybody was like a little bit flat, a little bit like not have the energy, just kind of nervous. And I was like, no, I'm going to make the most out of it. If I'm going to go out, I'm going to go out with a bang, I have so I was just start yelling at the coaches. I was like, okay, let's go then. Like, I was like, I'm going to be me. I'm not going to be somebody different. And I just start getting known.
Yeah, sure. And that's good because that is you. Like you're saying, like that's what you're doing at practice. Like when you start doing that and you get like in the flow state and you're like, oh, this is exactly how I was acting. And now I'm doing it on one of the biggest stages. Like it just carries over. And you could tell like that's when you start talking like that and getting that passion and intensity behind you, it just comes easy. You don't have to think. It just switches on.
Absolutely. No, I'm
pretty sweet, dude.
And I just can't wait. Coach D was telling me, he was like, Ahmed, I can't wait to yell to hear you yell at the NFL practices. And I was like, Coach, I can't wait. I'm gonna do that.
No
I mean,
doubt.
you're a grown man, but I'm a grown man too. You know?
Yes, sir.
At the end of the season, the NFL practices need a little juice, so that'll be a good thing.
Honestly, I can't just wait to play football now. I'm just been doing this for so long. I'm just like, I'm ready to play now, you know? So you got to know in a few days, hopefully 2 days, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we'll let you go because I'm sure you got a million other calls coming in, and probably just need to relax a little bit. And I'm sure you got a few more workouts planned. Just knowing how you are, you're going to be in the gym at some point over the weekend. But so we'll let you go. But anything you want to close with that you just want to tell everybody watching?
I mean, I just appreciate everybody that's been watching. I mean, Boise State has given me so much that I always want to give back, and I'm just super grateful for Riley and you, Coach, for having me here, and I'm just super honestly honored to be here. So I'm just super grateful, and thank you guys, and have a wonderful night.
Yes, sir, bro. It was an honor playing with you. Keep spreading God's word, bro. It fires me up, and I'm excited to see you on TV or go to a game, just balling out in the NFL, dude.
Absolutely. And best of luck this weekend. We'll be thinking of you, and let us know. We'll show up Saturday.
Yes, sir. I will.
Absolutely, bro.
I will.
All right. Love you, dude. Appreciate you. Yes, sir. Ahmed, dude, special type of person. I'm fired up for him.
No doubt. No doubt. We got BJ back. I think Riley's probably got
I got to bounce here soon.
But yeah, Ahmed, I mean, it's just far. Like I said, every guy that's ever been through Boise State, that's been one of the things we've talked about forever in recruiting around here is every guy we recruit should have the desire to go play in the NFL because we think the guys that are good enough to play at Boise State are good enough to go play in the NFL. And does it work out for every guy? No, not at all. And we also know that that's going to be the case. But when they're coming in as freshmen, we always want them to be thinking about that. Like, hey, if I do everything that I'm set out to do here, I'm going to have that opportunity. And, because it's such a hard thing, it is such a special deal when guys get to the end of their career and have that opportunity. And, some guys, hey, maybe going in the top 5 overall, like Ashton or some of these other guys that have gone early. And, for other guys, it's hanging and scratching and clawing to get that free agent tryout and show up and make the most of it and get on a practice squad for a year or two. And then next thing you know, I mean, I think about like J-Mac, who's a guy that actually did get drafted, but there's a guy like made the most of everything, and he took some lumps and some adversity and all that stuff. And shoot, next year 10 in the NFL. I mean, I think that's a pretty freaking phenomenal career.
No doubt.
Rid, I'd like to give some of these other guys the guys that are still trying to hang on and get that free agent deal or get that 7th round pick a few minutes of love if you have a couple more minutes to chat with me.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Riley, any final words? I know you got a busy evening. We appreciate you jumping on, but obviously going to be a cool night tomorrow night watching Ashton Genty and then Ahmed and these guys the rest of the weekend.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you guys next week.
There he is, Riley Smith, normal host of the Riley and Rid show here. And I am in Green Bay. Rid, obviously Ashton is the storyline for sure. But I know you talked to a guy like Brad Bedell. He's going to fight for a Ben Dooley, to earn a spot. Jonah Dalmas, made a 60-plus yarder at the pro day. We can get into some of these guys individually. I know an Alexander Tubner, a Cam Camper, is hoping for a chance. Shea Oladipo, Rodney Robinson. But what do you make of behind? I mean, it looks like Ashton's obviously going tomorrow. Ahmed is a lock to go. Hopefully as high as a 4th, maybe 3rd round. We've seen guys sneak in, 3rd round there, but maybe 4th, 5th round early on day 3. But anybody, I mean, who else are you looking at or thinking about in terms of guys that deserve a chance or you think are going to get a shot maybe on a tryout or a free agent deal?
Yeah, I think almost every one of those guys will get some kind of opportunity. I think Shea, Oladipo, Ben Dooley, and Tubner are almost for sures. I think Jonah, pretty good. The hard thing about the kickers is some of those guys kind of go on like the weekend tryout and never really get a free agent because.
Well, look at Tyler Rasa. I mean, that guy was For that guy to not even get a chance, I mean, come on.
Yeah, well, I'm not even so much speaking about Jonah's ability. Like they just, I mean, some of the teams will have 2 kickers through like the off season, but most of them not. Most of them are going to have 1 kicker because that's all they need. They might add a second one for fall camp, preseason, but most of them are only going to carry 1. So other than bringing a guy in for tryouts, like, okay, well, if something happens to our guy, here's our list of guys to call. That's about it. That's it. And I think there's a lot of, can you train to be a kicker on your own? Yeah, you can. So why would the NFL invest in all that other stuff for, just to carry you on the roster? So I think that's the hard part for him. I think Cam Camper, again, another guy I think for sure will sign with somebody as a free agent.
And I'm talking to
somebody.
No, there's a lot of guys. There's a whole. I mean, I can go through the whole list of guys that were a pro day. Included Dalmas, Ben Dooley, Herbert Gums, Cooper Jones, Sheldon Newton, Shale Adipo, Rodney Robinson, Tubner, Tavion Woodard, Terrence Shive, and then obviously Ahmed Genty, and then you mentioned Cam Camper also.
Yeah, I think Herbert and Sheldon too. I think those guys are for sure. And any of those guys could climb up as high as the probably 6th round. But now the way things are, you're almost better off to be like a high priority free agent because you've got multiple teams, so you can choose, and then they'll
look at the depth chart. Look at the depth chart, right? Find a spot on the door. The depth chart suits you better.
Well, now they'll guarantee your salary. They'll basically guarantee you, like George Holani signed last year. And I mean, if you want to talk about like how hard it is to get drafted in the NFL, and that's why I say that about some of those guys. Like, I don't, whether they get drafted or free agent. I mean, keep in mind, George, a year before, Ashton wasn't beating him out to be the number 1 guy, and George couldn't even get drafted. But he made the team, made the Seahawks, was active probably more than he wasn't. But they guarantee he was a high priority free agent, so he got to choose, and then he chose to go to a team that would basically guarantee him rookie money, whether he's on the practice squad or active roster. So, I think that's one of those things. Like at that point, I'm not sure it really matters anymore.
Sure.
And then you've got some other, just kind of free agent, like, hey, we'll give you $5,000, sign with us, and come prove yourself.
I don't have the list in front of me, but it seems, I mean, it is really hard to get drafted. I mean, Brett Rippon was a great example. Everybody thought Brett Rippon's going to finally end the streak, first quarterback to get drafted or whatever, and he couldn't even get drafted. I mean, there are some really good players.
And Brett's in year 6 or year 5.
He's made a lot of money. He's on the whatever retirement pension plan. I mean, he's I think, what is it, 5 years you got to be around or something? I don't know what the rules are, but he's made a lot of money. I don't know, maybe he's not quite there yet, but he's made a lot of money playing football and has, played in regular season games, and he's one of many where you get to that third day.
Started regular season games.
Yes. But that third day, you're like, oh, he's for sure getting drafted, or, oh, he's going to get. And then, I mean, every year there's a guy or two like that. So it's like, and I was talking to Prater and Jeanty about it, and usually that 4th or 5th round, whether it's a Jay Ajayi or some of these guys that, unfortunately, for whatever reasons, Boise State's had a little bit of history of guys sliding in the wrong direction on that third day, and now you get a guy like Ashton Genty who is sliding up. And now all of a sudden, first it was, oh, he might go top 10. Then it was like, oh, now he might go number 6. Now it's like, oh, he ain't going worse than 5 probably. I mean, it is a nice thing, I guess.
And that's everything that everybody's saying today, right? I mean, tomorrow,
the
reality of it is it could just hit a point where the teams that, everybody felt like that something happened, and, maybe they start making trades and whatever, and all of a sudden, we're at pick 15 and he hadn't been drafted. And, there's a lot to be said for being drafted at the end of the first round too, because typically that means you're on a good team. I mean,
the later you go, the better the record is of the team that takes you, no doubt.
I mean, if somehow Ashton ended up on like the Chiefs, everybody would probably think that's a pretty good deal for him, right? So
I'd be fine if they want to trade up for him, sure.
Yeah, and I just know like how this thing goes. Even like going back to Jay a while ago, there was an outside chance of being first round. But, it kind of felt like that was probably not going to happen. But I believe it was the Jaguars had the first pick of the second round. And they were like right up until the last second thinking they were going to draft him and then went another direction. The next thing you know, it's fifth round and he gets drafted.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things when you hit, like once you start sliding, maybe people start thinking, well, somebody must know something we don't, and we're not getting the team. And then you get into team needs and, all that stuff. And it just, you can't predict exactly. That's why I don't know if anybody's ever hit all 32 in their mock draft. I'm sure somebody has, but,
I can't imagine. With the trades and all that, that's just impossible to predict.
I would sure think so. I mean, trust me, do I think Ashton, if I was picking, I would take, he might be the most surefire out of any of these guys are talking at the top of the first round. Is like, is that guy going to have a great career and be a big time player? Yeah. And I certainly think so. And that seems like a safe pick to me, but it just doesn't work that way.
Robbie Robinson wants him on the Bills with Shakir and Allen.
Yeah. God, if he fell that far, how awesome would, he's going to be great if he goes to a situation like that.
No doubt. And we were talking, I think I mentioned this on the show with you guys last week when I popped on, but I keep going back to Matt Paradis. And I guess this is more for some of the other guys that we're talking about that are, the free agent type guys. But Matt Paradis, everybody thought Charles Leno was going to be the lineman picked first, or probably the only lineman, the left tackle and all this. And then you get to the sixth round and out of nowhere, Matt Paradis gets picked before Charles Leno and Matt Paradis. No disrespect to him, but a lot of people were like, wait, what? He got picked before? Charles Leno hasn't gotten picked yet? Like, what? Like, nobody saw that coming. But it took one team. He went one visit. He did one top 30 visit to the Denver Broncos. One team saw him. One team fell in love with him. And they take him in the sixth round, and it pays off. And he's snapping to Peyton Manning and doing all the things that he's doing, winning a Super Bowl and all that stuff. And if the Denver Broncos hadn't taken him, he probably doesn't get drafted, and who knows what opportunity he gets. All it takes for any of these guys, somebody at Pro Day might have saw something with Alexander Tubner and said, we need to get to know that guy a little more. Maybe they see something with a Ben Dooley or something. It is there's all these mock drafts and all these books where they give you paragraphs and all this stuff and all these scouting reports on every player. But all it takes is one guy somewhere, one team seeing somebody, and there's all these great stories about it. And hopefully that's something that happens with some of these guys this weekend.
Absolutely. And the thing I would also say, all these guys that are draft experts, they don't have the same access to information. A lot of it they're doing on film and they're self-trained. I think very few of them have the information that the NFL teams have.
Sure.
They know everything about a guy. They're investigating his work ethic in high school. They're investigating how often he practices, how hard he practices, how, all that kind of stuff. And that factors into everything they're doing. And, they're doing learning tests on guys, like all this stuff. So, because
we haven't heard usually isn't it about this time when we get the Wonderlic text or whatever it is released and all that?
I think everybody dropped the Wonderlic. I don't think anybody's using it anymore. Now they're using a personality test.
Okay.
It's, yeah.
What do you make, by the way, of now there's this leaked report about Shedeur Sanders. We saw a coach say something about him, and it was the worst interview. And now all of a sudden, his over-under in Vegas for his draft spot has gone from like number 8 to number 21 within the last couple of hours, and stuff like that kind of popping up last minute.
So, yeah, all those teams leak stuff on purpose too, trying to.
They don't want other teams to take him.
Yeah, or they try and boost their stock to get somebody up above them to take a guy that they don't want to have to deal with.
Yeah.
There's so much misinformation out there. Is there a chance that's a totally made up report? Absolutely. is there a chance somebody said it in the hopes that it would get picked up and go national? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to defend the report. I mean, I don't think the guy made the quote up from the coach. I just think the coach may not have been truthful when he said that or something.
Yes, I guess that's what I'm saying. I mean, when I said made up, I didn't necessarily mean that he made it up.
I know, just all this fake news stuff. That kind of bugs me when that kind of stuff gets said.
Well, I'll be honest. I didn't see it attributed to any reporter. I just saw somebody quote it on as a tweet, like some coach said, so I mean, that could have started as some fake Twitter account.
Yeah, no
got
doubt.
Picked up by other ones, like whatever. I mean, who said it, who didn't? I don't know. But does that mean? I guess at the end of the day, does that mean it's true, no matter where the rumor started?
Yep.
I don't think you can buy that at this point.
Didn't that happen with Jay Ajayi and his knee? I think there was some reports about that and all this. I mean, there's whether it's a coach saying that or something. With the funny, famous thing from Draft Day movie where the guy no one went to his birthday party, and stuff. And I saw something, they were joking about that or whatever, that nobody went to Shedeur Sanders' birthday party or whatever. But, but I mean, this is the silly season, so to speak, right? When that kind of stuff just comes out of nowhere.
There's just a lot of misinformation out there, and some of it's out there by accident, some of it's out there on purpose, and some of it's true. I mean, all those NFL teams have their own opinion of that stuff, and I can't imagine you'd let some rumor floating around determine where you're going to draft. I would hope you've done your own homework enough to figure that stuff out.
I've always wondered this, Coach, because we, and you obviously have coached a lot of these guys, so you probably got phone calls from NFL scouts and from coaches in the NFL asking about your player, and obviously you want what's best for the player. And what is that conversation like? I mean, I'm sure with Ashton Genty, it was a pretty easy conversation for Spencer Danielson to have, but when you've got a guy and you obviously want the best for him, how do teams weigh you being truthful with them versus doing what's best for your guy? And I know obviously if you end up burning a guy, and they'll figure that out down the road. But what's that like, and what are those conversations like, and that you've had with some of those teams and guys when they call and try to do information checks on some of the guys?
Well, I think in the right relationships, that's been talked about years before. Like, hey guys, just so you know, just so we're on the same page, like everything you do here, like if you want to play in the NFL and you think you're that kind of player, like it's going to be talked about. They're going to find out, whatever.
But you're not like, you don't want you don't want to be speaking negatively about your player to some NFL team when they ask a question. So it's just got to be a weird dynamic, I guess.
Well, you don't, but I would say this: in the few instances. There's been a guy that wasn't good, wasn't a great recommendation. Always told the guys, like, hey, watch the film, and if you really believe that guy's good enough to play in the NFL, come back and we'll have a real talk. But there's not been one guy I've ever felt like, hey, I have to be dishonest about, whatever.
Because they're asking more about playbook. I know with Jeremy McNichols, there was the whole thing that came out that he didn't know the playbook, and Brett. There's always like we talking about rumors and all this that Brett had to help him in the huddle with all the plays, and was it Hard Knocks or something where he didn't know the play? I forget what happened, but I mean might be they can put the film on. They're more asking you that kind of stuff about what they're like in the meeting rooms and what they know in terms of all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, and I think everybody here felt like Jeremy was, I think we talked to him about like, hey, you could, another season here would probably help you more than hurt you. I mean, I think we might have told some NFL guys like, hey, we told him like we wanted him to come back. Like, Jay, like you need to go. You got a lot of miles on the tires, and you're smart, you're ready. And Jeremy wasn't not ready. We just thought he would have been more ready with another year. But all that being said, I mean, Jeremy's practice habits were awesome. His meeting habits were awesome. His work ethic was out of this world. I mean, here's a guy that like on Friday nights, in the off season, just be hanging out, him and Ced Wilson in the building watching film. Like that was their Friday night routine, so none of those guys did we ever have anything bad to say about ever. But I will say this, when you're talking about guys like J-Mac or John Bates or Khalil Shakir or Jay, we didn't have bad things to say because those guys were freaking warriors. I think the worst thing I ever told about Jay to any scout was like, he is on time. Like, so he will never be late. He is on time. And sure enough, that guy's like never been late, not one time, but he is the last guy into the meeting room. And it said, I told you he'll be on time. So, but if that's the worst thing you ever say about a guy, I said, yeah, but hand the guy the ball 30 times on Sunday and see what happens. And ran for 200 yards twice in a row. So, those guys are, I think that's the thing about being at Boise State. You're not dealing with a whole bunch of guys that create issues. And the NFL guys know that. They're like, yeah, your guys is what you guys think of an issue, like not even kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we push these guys. We make them learn. We make them take notes. We make them think. We teach them football. We teach them situational football. So that just really hasn't been an issue. And like I said, I think the biggest thing is, typically you can kind of tell the guys that think they're on the NFL track, and you start having that conversation with them and try and get them to the point where like, hey, look, just so you know, like if you're not ever going to practice, you're going to be lazy. You're going to be like the guy that won't go unless he's 100%. You're going to, miss meetings. You're going to be late. You're not going to pay attention. You're not going to take notes. We have to repeat this over and over and over for you to get it. Like, just so you know, it's going to come up.
Yeah.
And don't be upset when it does.
Yeah.
And when you have that relationship, most of the time the guys figure it out and change before it ever becomes an issue.
Well, final thing or two, and we'll wrap this up. But I was curious from a coach perspective. Spencer Danielson flying out tomorrow will be in the green room, as we showed you. Not really a table and chairs anymore. There'll be some couches and some nice, comfy seating things behind the draft there. But you said you've been a part of whether it be position coach or on the same side of the ball or just, different side of the ball, but just coached them and everybody on the roster, obviously. Just what's it like for a coach to see guys that you've gotten to know and not necessarily asking you to go into Spencer's shoes in terms of what it's going to be like to be in the green room, but you said you were there when John Bates, when he got drafted. And I'm sure you've been with many of those guys and their parties and things like that. Just what's the feeling like for this coaching staff? I know the team is doing a watch party in the team room tomorrow night. They're going to invite the media, so there'll be some video and stuff of the team kind of watching and then all cheering and going crazy when Ashton gets picked. But just from and I'm sure James Montgomery and some of those guys will be there in the room watching on TV from afar like everybody else. But what's that feeling like for you as coaches, seeing nights like tomorrow night?
Well, I think just joy, probably. You're just excited for all the hard work. Most of these guys, and that's one of the cool things about Boise State. I think all the guys we're talking about really, maybe except Camper and even Sheldon's been around here like 3 years, but you've known those guys for a long time. You've been a big part of their lives. Like Ashton and Ahmed back to recruiting when they were in high school. So all the hard work that's gone into that, and to see those guys being able to sorry, I'm reading the comments there, but to see all that hard work pay off on a night like that, like just pure joy. And some people might say proud of them or whatever, but I don't know. I never really took the proud as part of it. Those guys did the work. All we did was provide the infrastructure and the information and all that for them to do it.
What does it mean, though, you think, for for Boise State, and to have Spencer on TV in the green room tomorrow night, and then to have Roger Goodell, with the 5th or 6th pick saying running back Boise State, and I'm sure they've already sent the postcards out, to the recruits from the Heisman finalist thing, and now to have a top 5 pick. I mean, you guys obviously, as I mentioned, compared to some of the schools, you don't have the biggest NFL draft history, but certainly in terms of a lot of the schools, Group of 5 and others that you're competing with are up there at the top. But just leaning into that and just what Ashton is doing tomorrow night, and Ahmed and all these guys, but talking just this weekend in general, I guess, how is this going to help, you think, and what Ashton did in terms of recruiting, players and just the national brand and perception of Boise State?
Well, I think it just provides validation for the dream. Like, hey, I love Boise State. I love everything about it, but I don't know if I can, be the first overall draft pick. Well, yeah, you can. I mean, you'll be the first one because I think we know Ashton's not going first tomorrow night, but
if somebody wants him bad enough, maybe they'll trade up.
Yeah, you never know. But I just think that's validation, so for every kid that's thinking even a little bit about Boise State, and maybe they're only freshmen right now, freshmen in high school, but they're looking at that going like, I can be that guy. I can go to Boise State and be that guy. Maybe it's a junior that holds a Boise State offer going like, yeah, I can do that. That's me. I'm the next one. I just think it provides validation on that. And anytime, I don't think it's a secret, but I love Spence. Love everything about him. And that guy is authentic as it gets. And every time he gets a chance to be on TV, that's a great advertisement for Boise State. And if JD is going to be there, same thing. I mean, you're talking about like 2 guys to get out there and be the face of the university. And that's obviously great for football recruiting. That's great for university recruiting. It's great for bringing in money for the NIL programs. Great for, we're getting the north side of the stadium. It's great for bringing in money to get the east side of the stadium done. All that stuff. I mean, you couldn't ask for 2 better people to be out there promoting the university, and really 3 because you're talking about Ashton too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, those guys are going to be on TV tomorrow in front of, I don't know how many people watch the draft. I don't know, 50 million or something, but certainly the highlights. I mean, you're going to be basically under a rock in Boise if you don't know by Friday that Ashton got drafted in the first round.
Oh, I got people on my social media feed or my Facebook account that I know very little about football, commenting about the draft and replying to some of my posts and things today. I mean, even if you're an average at best football fan in Boise, Idaho, you know what's going on tomorrow night.
Absolutely, and so I just think for the everything that brings to Boise and Boise State, I think it's validation, it's publicity, it's advertising, it's money. I mean, it's invaluable and it's exciting. It really is. And hopefully, next year we're talking about same kind of thing with a different guy. I know we have other guys that are on the team thinking like, why can't I be the first round pick next year? And maybe,
I know Cage Casey's thinking that. I mean, there's certainly some guys that have a chance to get drafted next year.
Yeah, Jaden Virgin Morgan, Ty Benefield. I mean, why not those guys?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have more than one next year.
There you go.
That's a story. Maybe it won't be a top 5, but maybe we'll have 2 in the top 10. Who knows? I mean, but that's the kind of thing that is inspiring those guys and providing validation to them. And like I said, I mean, you get guys like Ashton, Spencer, and JD some TV time. That's pretty valuable because it usually finds a way to monetize itself.
Well, we'll give they're going to get some Bronco Nation news time as well. We're scheduled to chat with Spencer and with Jeremiah Dickey tomorrow once they arrive. So make sure you're checking our social media feed for that. We had all kinds of videos today that we dumped on social media. So go check my Twitter feed. I mentioned that full 10-minute YouTube video with Ashton is up. I also caught up with Joel Klatt from Fox. He talked about Ashton. I got that video posted as well. And we'll talk to Spencer. JD's supposed to talk to Ashton Genty after he's picked tomorrow. So, by the way, if people are commenting about the hat here, Kent, in the chat and the shirt, if you get lucky, maybe I'll have a souvenir for you. I got a little NFL draft football right here. Hope my kids aren't watching it. I'm blowing my cover on the souvenirs, but we got the mini football right here as well. I may need a loan, Kent, but I did get some souvenirs at the gift shop today before I came back to the hotel.
Good move. Lambeau Field's kind of a cool place. Not kind of, it's a really cool place. Had the opportunity to go back last year and catch a Packers game. Got to see Chris Strasser and the Texans there, and just a phenomenal environment.
And they've done
way more college football environment than pro football environment, but it's a fantastic place and just unbelievable.
I would say that walking up, I got that feel with the tailgating and stuff. It felt like what Boise State football is to Boise, kind of Green Bay Packers to Green Bay, and just the city and the connection they have there, and how and what I thought, Kent, was my first time there, so I don't know what it looked like before, but they really modernized it by keeping it the history of Lambeau Field. But you walk inside and it doesn't feel like a building that's as old as it is, and they've done some nice renovations and things, and you can tell how it gets pretty loud in there though, because it's a nice size building, as I showed earlier in some of those videos, and but it was. The NFL's done this, 3, 4, 5 years now, where they've taken the draft to cities, and it's mostly cold weather cities that will never get awarded the Super Bowl. So in kind of a secondary thing, they can host this draft. And as I said, with some of the things, I mean, they've really turned this into a more of a event in terms of just all the fans and everybody that's coming. And here's one more look as we sign off. But just you could be a fan of the Kansas City Chiefs and fly out for this draft and have the time of your life for a couple of days doing all these interactive things, and they time you running the 40, and you get to see the trophy and all this stuff. But certainly Lambeau Field, that's a historic thing. I know Darren College is here. I'm hoping to catch up with him tomorrow as well. And obviously,
I was just going to ask you if we saw Darren signing autographs anywhere.
Yeah. The line was too long for me to wait and talk to him, so I texted him and said we'll catch up another time. But he is here, and obviously Brad Bedell, our friend, has some history, with the Green Bay Packers as well. And so no, it's a historic place. I'm trying to think. Who was the last Boise State? I guess was College the last one. Was there another Boise State player that played for the Packers since him?
I don't know who was there last, Darren or Corey.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I feel like somebody else has been through there, though.
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about Corey. Yeah, Corey Hall, obviously. But no, just a surreal scene, a surreal setup. Thanks to the NFL for giving some jackwagon from Boise, Idaho, a credential to get in there and do this. And I don't think TV does it justice. I'll just say that, Kent, for the setup of the size of the stage. You can see down there at the bottom, they've got the little areas for all the different NFL teams. They're all going to get about 20 fans for their team that each have their own little area. And then there's some seating on the sides and things. But I mean, this is a tent. They built this from scratch in the parking lot, a tent. And it's nothing like a tent. It's a building they basically built for this draft. It's incredible.
Yeah, it looks phenomenal. I've seen it the last couple of years on TV. It looks like a great time. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people in there with their game day fan gear on.
You watching it over there on the left, the high top table. Yeah, the high top tables with the Budweiser in hand over there on the left. I'd be perfectly happy just watching it over there. But no, there you can see if I went too far, but I wanted to show you there's Lambeau Field right there in the background. So it's right there in the parking lot of Lambeau Field. So this is on the stage, kind of what the players will look like. A look at what Roger Goodell's going to look at walking out is the stage right there.
I believe Vince Lombardi and Curly Lambeau statues are right over there to the right.
Yes, I saw those. I had a chance to stop and see those actually, and that was pretty cool. And then thinking about the Vince Lombardi trophy there as well. And so, historic place. They deserve the draft. It's pretty cool. And then, as I said, here's the green room, which is nothing green about it. But I sat on the couch and I picked up the phone, but nobody answered. So I don't know who I was calling. But it's a cool thing. Happy to be here. Thanks to all of our subscribers and our advertisers, including Jackson's, of course, for making this possible. One of our major sponsors here at BNN, Jackson's, sponsor of the Riley and Ridge show. So we appreciate appreciate Jackson's and everybody there. Rid, I know you have your Jackson's cup you've been sipping out of there, your Diet Coke or whatever you got there.
Diet Coke,
yep. But
nice.
We appreciate Jackson's. They got the 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night at Jackson's. They got the $5 meal deal as well. You can get 2 hot dogs and a kettle chips for $5. So I don't say this to brag, Kent. I say this just to be honest about it. But Bronco Nation News is the only local media outlet in Boise that made the trip to come out to the draft here. And so this was not a cheap trip with flights. And, I am not staying. Let's just put it this way. I'm not staying at a 5-star resort. And it still is a pretty penny for a lower quality hotel here in Green Bay. I'll just say that. And so it was not a cheap trip.
I'm not sure there are any high quality hotels here in Green Bay.
Well, I think Brad was actually trying to get me to. Brad was like, "Oh, stay at the casino down by the water and all this," and he's hyping this place up, and I go look at it, and draft weekend it's like $900 a night. So I said, Brad, I'm not going to be able to make that one happen. I apologize, but I just again, not trying to brag, gloat, whatever. I'm just being honest that it was not a cheap trip, but Bronco Nation News made the investment, wanted to be here and cover this in person, a historic day for Boise State. That's kind of our commitment to Bronco Nation and wanting to be here for this. And it's because of all of our viewers right now, all of our paying subscribers, everyone that's retweeting, watching this video. And like I said, our major sponsors, including our title sponsor, rowpaint.com, Andy Rowe and Company, and also Jackson's. And we appreciate Jackson's for their support of this show and allowing Riley and Kent to do this weekly and to have guys like Ahmed come on, but also Jackson's for sponsoring all of our post-game shows. And we are, Kent, as we sign off, I do want to say we are going to try to have a Jackson post-game show tomorrow night from the draft. So we are set up on Radio Row. They've got a little spot for us where we're going to be able to broadcast, and I'm slated to chat with Ashton Genty and also Spencer Danielson both before and after the draft. So we are hoping to have a Jackson's post-game show after the draft. And so tomorrow night when Ashton Genty gets picked, it'll be a little while till we talk to Ashton and stuff, so you can keep watching the first round, and then we will jump on BNN with post-draft interviews with Ashton, post-draft interviews with Spencer Danielson, and we'll break down the historic night and the pick and get into all that on the Jackson's NFL Draft post-game show tomorrow night. So looking forward to been a fun couple days, and tomorrow should be exciting as well.
Absolutely. So
any final words, Kent? Any final words for Ashton or Ahmed or any of these guys in terms of just a historic weekend? It happens every year, but certainly dreams become realities, and it's exciting to see that happen, especially for media and coaches and fans that have followed these guys in their careers for a long time.
Yeah, I'm just excited for those guys, all those guys, whether they get drafted in the first round, the 7th round, free agent, anywhere in between, to see those dreams become reality. And it's because of all the hard work they've put in. I think we're going to have a lot of Broncos off this past team that are going to have a chance to play in the NFL, and I know they'll make most of them make the most of it, stay around as long as they possibly can. Hopefully that's years and years and all that. But yeah, I'm just excited for them, and to those guys, make the most of it. Doesn't matter when and where. Just go do your thing and do what you've been doing for so many years that made you successful at this level. Those same characteristics carry over to the next level.
Well, we appreciate you for your time tonight, Kent. Thanks to Riley. Thanks to Ahmed Hassanein. And I mentioned we're doing the post-draft show. We're also going to have our typical regular morning show tomorrow, 9 a.m. tomorrow. We'll hear from Joel Klatt. I have some other sound bites from Ashton Genty, John Mallory, an NFL draft. I guess I was going to say, well, how can I say this without being too mean to Johnny here? Aficionado, I guess I will say. Is that a fair phrase? Johnny loves the draft, so we'll get Johnny on tomorrow morning as well. But at 9 a.m. Mountain Time in Boise, we'll kick off NFL Draft day with you at 9 a.m. on Bronco Nation News. Then we'll have all coverage all day during the draft and post-draft as well. But thanks to Kent. Thanks again to Riley and Ahmed. Thanks to Jackson's. And thanks to you for watching the show tonight. Again, big day tomorrow. And we'll kick it off at 9 a.m. on Bronco Nation News Live. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you later from Green Bay and the NFL Draft here on Bronco Nation News.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.